Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we're taking a look at this MSI gaming laptop. This is the GP75 Leopard. This thing packs in some good specs like an RTX2070 and 144Hz monitor. So we're gonna go ahead and do some benchmark gameplay. Also, we're gonna check the thermals inside and out. So let's get right into it. Looking at the specs of the GP75 Leopard here, we do get a 17.3 Full HD 144Hz screen, which is awesome, and the Intel Core i7-10750H CPU. We also get the RTX2070, of course, and 512 gigabytes of SSD and 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM. So take a look at the left hand side here. We do get the microphone headphone jack here, a USB Type-C and a USB 3.2 and a display port here, an HDMI and an Ethernet port here as well. So it's kind of packing a lot of things on this left hand side here, which is awesome to see. Looking at the right hand side here, we do get two more USB 3.2s and also an SD card reader, which is actually nice to see because more and more laptops are taking this off nowadays. Looking at the back here, we do get the vents, the Leopard writing there, and the cool thing about the Leopard here, they did make the logo here light up as well, which is looks nice at nighttime especially. One thing you have noticed probably here is the RGB keyboard. I do have this button up here. I'm able to change the profiles. So if I click here, able to change the profiles right away. And also you can change all the colors or anything you want to from the software itself too. So right now the screen is at full brightness and this is a 1080p monitor. But the thing is, it does look nice and crisp. The colors are great. And not much to complain about, especially the 144Hz option here. Definitely you can see the big difference there. So right now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at some benchmarks, and I do have it plugged in and everything while the benchmarks ran. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. So first benchmark we're looking at is the Cinebench R15. Looking at the OpenGL, we got 120.32 FPS, while on the CPU 1320CB. Next, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the Cinebench Release 20, where on the CPU we got 2956 points there. And we're gonna go ahead next and look at the CrystalDiskMark. So on the CrystalDiskMark, definitely we can see some big numbers. I love seeing these big numbers when it comes to the SSD test here. So we got 2400 and 1700, almost 1800 on write, which is amazing to see. Definitely you're going to be noticing this when you're loading games up or even on just boot up for sure. Right now we're looking at the Superpostion benchmark here. We got a score of 14,513, and taking a closer look at the FPS here. Looking at the minimum, we got 86, average 108, and maximum of 138 frames per second. The results that you see here were done on 1080p medium. So right now we're gonna go ahead and test out Warzone here, and I'm gonna show you exactly what settings I'm using. One thing you can definitely hear is the fan noise. It's kinda going a little bit louder and louder. So right now let's just go to the options here. I'm gonna show you what settings we're using here. I'm just gonna scroll down so you can see. So mainly like texture resolution is high, particle quality high, and mainly I try to do as much high as possible here. So we got some ultra, particle lighting and all that. So let's see what kind of FPS we get here. And when we're looking at the speakers here, they do sound actually pretty good.
Enemy dropping into the AO. Enemy UAV overhead. Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies. dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
So playing Warzone here, you can definitely see the temperatures here. So the GPU, it's staying around the 77 Celsius, while the CPU is definitely going way more, around the 94. And the constant frame rate, it's always like over 100 almost, which is actually good to see. And with those settings, so pretty much some of the settings are high, some are ultra, and we're getting all like this good frame rate. And it looks like, especially on this 144 Hertz monitor, everything looks very smooth. So let's get to the next game and see how that runs. Alrighty, so the game has loaded, so let's go here and see what do we get. So far, over 100 FPS, which is nice to see. One thing I'm noticing here, the CPU temps are way higher than the GPU here actually. So we were getting around 95, almost 100. Sometimes it actually is jumping to. So let's just walk around here and see. So we're getting around 108 FPS here. Definitely looks very nice, like smooth, everything here. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the volume here as well, just so you can hear.
Weapons restrictions lifted. Moving it harder. Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons with weapons restrictions lifted.
So definitely the environment here and everything looks amazing on this monitor. Everything is crisp, and we're definitely getting some very good FPS here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and show you the settings I'm using. So if you go under systems, options here, and graphic settings, these are the settings we're using here. So graphic quality, it's set to default, and model detail default, pretty much, and the shadow resolution high here. So nothing is actually low in here, and it's still able to deliver the over 100 FPS here, which is actually amazing to see. One thing is, even though the CPU is kind of getting hot, but here it's to the touch doesn't get as hot. We're gonna check the thermals after as well, but right now it doesn't seem to get too hot. The fan noise definitely is there, but if you're wearing headphones, you're not obviously gonna hear that, but definitely there's some fan noise right now. And this is what kind of frame rates and temperatures we get with Death Stranding here. So everything runs pretty smoothly, had no issues. Also, I played before, same as Warzone. I did play before for more than a few hours, and no issues or like game hiccups or anything like that. So right now, let's go ahead and put on Fortnite and see how that runs. And I'm interested to see what kind of FPS we get there. So right now we have Fortnite open here. So let's just take a look at the settings that I'm using here for the graphics. Mainly everything is at high here, and looking down here we have the DirectX 12 beta, and these are all the settings that I'm using. So right now we're getting definitely over 120, 137, 140, and it keeps going 150 sometimes I saw there. So let's just see when we land how much frames per second we get. And the GPU temperatures here we can see at 75, CPU is at 95. Definitely throughout all the games that I've been testing it out, definitely the CPU temperatures are going way higher than the GPU. And I think it's the CPU, it's only being used 40, like under 50% at the moment, and it's still the highest. Usually that's the one that's causing all the heat to come out here. And right now we're definitely getting over 130 FPS, which is amazing. And definitely with this monitor, we can, it's smooth as butter here actually. So looking around, it all looks good. And just playing a little bit more here. and there we go. So definitely we're getting some good FPS here, considering we have everything at high. Right now I want to go ahead and actually try just to put everything at a little bit lower resolution, just to see what we get here. So let's just put everything in medium here. And also we have, okay, yeah, so we're good here. So let's just apply and let's see here. So right now we're getting over 170 FPS. So definitely it's surpassing that 144 Hertz monitor here. So at medium settings, almost at 200. But at high settings, definitely we're getting some very nice frame rates here. So right now what we're gonna be doing is checking out the thermals outside the laptop here, throughout the keyboard and all around here, just to see how hot it gets. So I am running Superpostion benchmark at extreme. We're gonna let it run for a little bit just so everything can get heated up. So checking out the temperatures here on top of the keyboard near the fan here, we're getting the like around the 47 here near the vents. But looking at the touchpad, stays pretty cool there, doesn't get warm at all. But around the WASD keys here, this is mainly where you're gonna keep your fingers on. We're getting around the 44, 45, 6 there. Usually this area is kind of getting the warmest here. And looking at the side now, the vent area here, we're getting around the 54, 55 here, but that doesn't really matter. But you don't really want to put this in your lab where you're playing games, because look at the back here, definitely it goes like over 60 Celsius here. But definitely actually not bad as other laptops that I have reviewed in the past, where like at the front of the keyboard usually kind of burns your fingers off. And looking around that monitor area here stays pretty cool. So right now we're gonna go ahead and look under the hood, and you're gonna need to remove a total of 13 screws in order to remove the cap here. And once you get that off here, so first thing I see here, we get a nice amount of copper here, which is actually very good to see, and that's why it's keeping things a little cooler than other laptops here. And we do get some expansions here. So we have a 2.5 SSD slot here, so you're able to upgrade this. And also we have an M.2 space here as well. So we have a PCI Express 3.0 X4. And looking at the memory cards here, you're able pretty much to swap these out if you wanted to go a little bit bigger. So you have that option as well. But overall, everything looks nice and clean here, and the speakers do look good and also sound good as well actually, so they're pretty loud. And the way they're set up here, they do got these little rubbers here, so pretty much you're not gonna hear like any of those vibrations or anything like that. As you can see here, they kind of like move a little bit, so it's pretty cool. But overall, I love the way it's actually built here, because it's giving us a little bit more options to upgrade here, especially the SSD here for sure. So when we're looking at the battery life of the GP75 Leopard here, you're looking to get around 2.5 hours. That's actually on Wi-Fi, browsing the web, and with the brightness not so high. But if you're looking to game on this, definitely you're going to be getting way less. So my final thoughts on this gaming laptop. First thing is, I do love the 144 Hz monitor. If you guys have been using a 60 Hz monitor, jumping to 120, 144 here, you can notice a big difference. Even like when you're just moving your mouse or gaming, definitely a big difference there. And then we do get the RTX 2070 in there as well, which is able to handle pretty much any game out there right now, and with very good frame rates as well. And the great thing about this laptop, since it has the RTX 2070 with the RTX 3080, 3090 coming out, definitely these I can see these dropping in price, so it's kind of a good moment to pick one of these up. And all you need pretty much to do is just plug in a gaming mouse here and you're set to go, because we do get this nice 17.3 inch screen here. One of the issues that I encounter with this laptop is the heating issue here. The heat kind of stays where the keys are, so if you're gaming with the WASD keys here, you kind of feel the heat coming out a little bit here. But it's not as bad as other laptops that I have reviewed in the past, where it up here it gets like really warm. This one it gets warm here, but not too crazy warm as you saw in the thermals there. But other than that, the laptop runs great, and it's able to handle pretty much any game you throw at it at the moment. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also, if you are new here, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn the notifications on. And if you have any questions about this laptop here, go ahead and leave a comment below. I'll be more than happy to answer it. I'll see you guys next time.